Rahubat, Rahubat. Just waiting for everyone to join.
Chat's there. I'm just gonna go shop there.
No worries.
Cool.
All right, let's just play our theme tune whilst we wait for everybody to join. Yeah, man, Free the Master Teacher. There we go. Let everyone know we're live.
Spread the word.
Make our dreams come true. Time come. Show no fear. Master Teacher.
Freedom for the master.
You all should know the chorus
Master
by now.
Teacher.
Freedom for the master. Master Teacher. Freedom for the master. Master Teacher.
That's right.
Time to raise for our soul. Fade away. It won't be long. And how about you, Master Teacher?
Freedom for the master. Master Teacher. Freedom for the master. Master Teacher. Freedom for the master. Master Teacher.
Master Teacher. Freedom for the Rahubat, everyone. Rahubat, everyone joining.
Rahubat, Rahubat.
Rahubat Dorinda in the house. Wambo Terry in the house. Vanilla Shay.
Is that incoming call already?
Yeah, but where's the phone? All right, you have to wait a while before we start taking the live calls.
Yeah, we want the calls coming in today. Plenty of calls,
Rahubat.
live calls.
Antony Rahubat. Emmanuel Rahubat. Oliver Rose Rahubat.
Rahubat, Rahubat.
Bruce Scar Noise Rahubat. Leonard Rahubat. Satak Kobina Rahubat. Joshua Rahubat. Dot Rahubat. Please tell me how the Son is Jesus. All right, we're going to get to the questions. Anthony, that's right. Freedom Master Teacher, for sure. Godly Goddess Rahubat. Maxime Rahubat. Fifi Rahubat. Master Teacher. Freedom for the Master. Master Teacher.
Freedom.
Master Teacher. Freedom for the Master. Master Teacher. Sure did. And now Rahubat. NTU9. Rahubat family. Hey, Rahubat. I hope I'm pronouncing that. How you pronounce that name there now? NTU 9 I think yeah, maybe you can tell us. Okay, folks. Bring him home now. So let everyone know we're live. Your mom, your dad, your grandma, your uncle, your sister.
Ex-girl, new girl.
Everybody. Okay, Rahubat. Okay, so just to let any newcomers know who we are, what this is about, and yeah, just to set the record straight. So I'm Saken, and of course my brother here is
Asaru Tahuti Atum.
Tua. So this is OSM Vision, Ask Us Anything,
Right.
the live, and this happens every Tuesday. And we're here to literally share Wu-Sabat, the culture of Wu-Sabat, and answer any questions that you all may have. You can call in live or put your questions in the chat, in the comment section. And yeah, we just answer your questions and do our best. Like the song is saying, the priority, the number one priority for us is the master teacher's freedom.
Yep.
And there are many, many efforts and many things that can be done. And we say support them all. Of course, if you want to know how to, the links are going to be in the chat. Yeah. You know, people ask, how can I help? So the link's going to be in the chat, how you can help. Now we're just making sure that everything is funneled to one place and then it's, you know, distributed and helped with all the efforts. Okay, so who's the master teacher? Also known as Partner Babylon. Go on, you can say.
The reformer of this day and time.
Dr. Malachi Z.K. York.
The answer to this troubled world.
Absolutely. So this is something that we've asked for. Humanity has been asking for a solution to the problems of the world.
Yep.
And, you know, the forces of natural nature, natural ether energy decided it was time after 24,000 years and the last 6,000 years in particular of the moon cycle. The planet's been going through a lot of chaos, you know, confusion, lies, deceptions.
Under the spell of 6 ether.
Under the spell of 6 ether. Tawutak Zama. Yeah, so he's here to set the record straight, to bring about the new 24,000 years, which started in the year 2000. So, yeah, that's what Wu-Sabat is about. It's to clarify, demystify, and give you the right knowledge, the right wisdom, and the right understanding, which is going to lead you to
Sound, right, and reasoning.
couldn't say it better myself, sound right reasoning. And every little detail is important. The master has left no stone unturned. So, you know, look at everything, study words. The language is absolute. It's a crucial thing that we have to learn, because that's the way you break the spell. Yeah, everything you look at, the symbols, everything to do with our culture. Yeah, so that's an introduction to Wu-Sabat.
It's all about research, research, research. Find out the origin of words, where they came from. Because a lot of the words
We've got a call already. Okay, we've got priorities for the callers. So, hey, Terry, Rahubat.
Rahubat, second, how are you?
Yeah, doing my best, and I'm with Asaru today as well.
Rahubat.
Yeah, I'm good to see Asaru after a long time.
Hey! Thank you, thank you.
So you have the first question live today. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, because I was reading the scroll, My Brother the Extraterrestrial. Then there's a part, the master teacher was trying to explain, like there's some, like there's a point when 9 ether being dies, they lower their vibration to 6 ether.
There you go.
I didn't quite understand what he was trying to mean by that.
Okay,
Just give more information about that.
Okay, yeah. So you can find this information even like in a lot of the scrolls that he published many years ago, like the Holy Tablets. He's talking about the cycle of life, yeah? So you go through this cycle where you got 9 ether, and the death of 9 ether is 6 ether, yeah? And then the death of 6 ether is ghost, yeah? And then after ghost, it's kind of like recycles. So a good example to explain that he gave us was like when you look at a child, when the child is first born, and you look at like the hair of that child, even if they're Nagaru, it's very thin, isn't it? It's very soft. And then as they grow, it gets thicker and then forms more of the 9 ether curly hair, woolly hair. And then when you start to get older in age, you become an elder, and then you see like your hair starts to thin again. So he's just explaining that when you look at 9 ether and 6 ether and then what you call ghost, when you look at it in human forms in terms of on the planet, you will have Nagarus or Negroids that are 9 ether, and then from the 9 ether you will see how it goes to the Dravadu, yeah, where you still have the dark skin, melanin, but then you have the straight fur. And then from that fur, if you look at a Caucasian, you're looking at an Asian without the melanin. Then basically when they say white and they refer to us as black, they're basically talking about this evolutionary stages where you go from darkness and to white, where white is the absence of color and black is a combination of all colors. Then after that, when people cross over or pass, they just become ghosts, yeah? And this is why they refer to them as white, because transparent in terms of not being visible anymore. So then this becomes ghost worship. And this is where the monotheistic religions pick up when they say that the gospel, but they're not telling you phonetically, they're saying the ghost spell.
Yep.
Because the ghost spell is all about worshipping the dead or people that are no longer here, you see. So that's what he's referring to when you're talking about 9 ether, the death of 9 ether to 6 ether, and then the death of 6 ether to ghost. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Tua, let's get back to the chat, the comments. Wow, we got so many already. Thank you so much for the language video. Okay, yeah, that just came out. Is that out already? Oh, okay. I was wondering, will you be doing a reading about cleaning ourselves from the inside and outside? It seems like an important teaching, need details. Yeah, we're trying to do so many videos that you guys have requested. So yes, we'll definitely look at that. But even before the video, most of the scrolls, you know, they touch on cleaning yourself inside out. You know, that's the diet. That's a lot of the habits that we've formed over the years that we need to unprogram ourselves from. So yeah, we'll do our best to get that video out as well. Sorry, my books are here. My books are here yet. I'm just excited to know. Peace and love. Okay. Rahubat Musa, can you tell me why I have visions that come true in my dream if I'm just the ordinary woman? That's from Venetia. I think we could have started a new religion by now if we say the amount of times we say we don't tell people about their personal visions and dreams.
Unless we were there.
Unless we were there, of course. However, you say I'm just an ordinary woman, but you're a sacred feminine. And many people have gifts. This is one of the things that, you know, people in religion, they use to actually dupe people. Yeah, you know, people that have gifts of maybe being able to, you know, read palms or all kinds of things, and then they start to use it for like making money.
Yeah.
So many people do have gifts, and those gifts are supposed to be used in a honorable way. And so don't be surprised when you're waking up and you're starting to know about your powers and your gifts, because you have these dormant. It's just that they have to be activated, or you may not be aware of the greatness of your powers. So, you know, don't be surprised.
Your potential.
Yeah, there you go. Your potential. What was the other part? Yeah, so your visions are for you. Actually, the way the Master Chichi broke down visions, he said that sometimes you do get visions that are a message to share with everyone. So
Humanity, yeah.
if the vision is a very important vision and it's for you to share with everyone, then you can share it. Dreams are personal, all right? We've got another caller, so let's take that call. Rahubat Zamal, what's your name, where are you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Rahubat, how are you, good man?
Well,
We're doing our best, Zamal. And how are you?
I'm excellent. This is Myron Moore calling again from Birmingham, Alabama. I last spoke to you about the lightning that occurs in my life.
Right, I remember, yes.
Yes. I had a question for you. This is a quick question I have I wanted you to expound on. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was from the Emerald Tablet in which I believe Thoth spoke of the two evils. One evil is necessary and is a part of our growth in life and development. And the other evil is an actual evil that's meant to distract us and keep us from growth and development by the beings that he, I believe, mentioned that he watched come about in the world or in the universe that made these things occur for their own mischievous outcomes, for lack of better words.
Right.
And it sounded like he was talking about the reptilians. I'm not sure. He didn't really say. I was wondering if you could expound on that.
Sure. What I like to do a lot of times when I convey information is try and simplify it as much as possible. So the way that you can look at that is the master teaches that you have devils or the devil, and then you got devils by conversion. So those are the two devils. So for example, naturally, the Nagaru were not devils in that sense. They've been converted by way of the behavior and being around those devils that you're talking about, which are going back to these reptilian beings and the beings from Arcturus and the Pleiadians, and those are the ones that then came here and mixed their seed with the original Pataites, which were not evil, and then they then created the hybrids, and then you got the Adamites, and those extraterrestrials are, because they have their DNAs, why they manifested on the planet and they cause a lot of the chaos on the planet. So then you have Nagarus who then were converted by way of, if you grow up in a society and in a place where you think that's normal. This is why sometimes beings will have a conscious, so when they do something, they actually feel it, they know it's wrong. And then you have beings that are not converted, that it's in their nature, so they don't have any remorse, no consciousness, they don't even have emotions to the point where they can feel like what they're doing is wrong. So when people say, how can anybody do such a thing? It's because they don't feel the same way as you feel, because there's an absence of soul. So that's the way you can look at the two devils, if you want to use that. Did you want to add anything?
I think also how we started believing. There was a point of time when we knew things, but then obviously when their cycle came into effect, we started believing rather than knowing.
That's
so
right.
Now this is the time now we start going back to the state where we knew things rather than accept things.
Yeah, so we got put into the spell of sleep, spell of ignorance, spell of Kingu, and there are many, many names and different types of versions of it. So today, the devil is not one person, because he has children, offspring, and it can come in any form. This is why we say Leviathan, because Leviathan is dealing with the law of sins. Levi, or the Levitical law, that's what Leviathan, Adhan deals with sin. So that sin is a person known as Nana sin. And this is where, even in the Bible they say you've got two choices. You can choose to go one way, and if you choose to do evil, then sin lies at the door. So you open yourself up to that, starting to do and behave like the devil. So anyone on the planet who is, doesn't matter what their skin suit is if you are converted into a devil, or if you're a devil by nature, then you're gonna do what devils do. So when you start to look at the wars, the chaos, the disharmony, all the bloodshed and all the things that are going on the planet, is by way of these devils that you're talking about, or these draconians and these Pleiadians and these draconian beings and reptilians, all types of species. So yeah, I hope that's helped you.
Interesting. Thank you very much. I highly appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay, let's get back to the where were we?
Yeah, also I want to say animism. Animist, when we started, we stopped knowing, and then, what's the word? Animism. Is it animism?
Animism.
No, there's another word.
What are you trying to remember?
We forgot.
Oh, amnesia.
That's the word. Amnesia, yeah.
Yes.
Where
Right, got you.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Amnesia.
Maxime, greetings. I want to open my third eye and astral project. What steps or advice do you have for me that I can follow? Many thanks. Right. The third eye, there's so much misconceptions. People think it's just like you just turn it on and turn it off like a switch. And you have to remember you have these seats, right? Chakras, as they refer to, which are seats and glands in your body that are activated by certain practices. And you're dealing with vibrations. And so the lowest vibrations are at the bottom, dealing with your carnal desires, lust, and that's what's depicted with the red. And then as you move up, so if you want to say activate your heart chakra, which is the one that deals with ashuk and love, because they can be done in a particular sequence. So for example, if you don't have ashuk, which is the love, if you don't have your heart seat open, it's going to be difficult for you to then do other things like, you know what I mean, when you're dealing with your pineal gland or your third eye, because you can do all of that, but you have no love in your heart, you see. So it's a gradual step in terms of, you know, like turning them on. And you turn them on sometimes without even you knowing. It's like spirituality. The master says that most of us are Nagarus are naturally spiritual. And other people who are not have to make a big effort to become, to act or be spiritual. So he said, because people ask him all the time, how would you know when you're when I'm spiritual? And he said that it's like how you fall asleep. You don't know when you're going to fall asleep. You just slowly or naturally just drift into sleep.
Yep.
And he said sleep, is it a sister? Yeah, the sister to death.
Death, yeah.
So meaning that, he explained it, if you fell asleep and never woke up, how would you know that you were dead? Because every time you go to sleep, you may not come back or wake up. So he's saying, he said to us back then, many, many years ago, that, you know, the time's going to come when what we're calling spirituality or the spiritual world is going to be as natural to us as what we call the physical is. So what I'm basically saying is that if he said, don't, even in the recording with the Ma'at, learn to care. Right? He said that don't want, even like the golden children in the Patarak, people want these things and the desire for it, he said,
like
it's like actually it stops you because you're, you know, don't want it so much that, you know, just let it happen, let it flow, let it be natural. If you are a golden child, don't claim it, don't force it, you know. People may even get their barythry gland inserted and they may not even know about it. So I'm saying that when your third eye is open, you will know because you see things. He's already opened our third eye because, like, there are things that you would have read in, say, the Bible all your life, but never saw it. You know, like simple things like he was saying, who's talking in Genesis 1:1. Like, if you never considered that before, all these little things that he points out that we never ever saw, that's showing you that he's opening your third eye, because you're starting to see not only interdimensionally, but you're starting to see the world completely different. So you can look at something and others won't see it. And you like, wow, look at that. It's so obvious to us. You know, so I'm basically saying, not saying that you shouldn't do the practices like meditation, relaxation, you know, mindfulness, ashuk, all of these things will help you. And when people want to astral project, that also happens naturally.
Yeah, yeah.
Like people that have done it will tell you the first time it happened, they were just shocked and they were scared and they were like, what's going on? So they drift into it.
Not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling. But then you got to learn how to control it. And there are risks as well, because if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're going, you don't know how to get back, then, you know, you could be trapped out there. So this is where the spiritual master comes in. And he puts out a lot of information for you to develop mentally, physically, and then spiritually as well. And sometimes people want to cut corners. There are no corners to cut. You just got to live it.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts. That's why, yeah. So, you know, the spiritual orders are there to train you spiritually. And he's had many orders, like ancient mystical order of Melchizedek, which metamorphosized into ancient Egyptian order. We've had Sons of the Green Light. You know, there are many orders where you got the brotherhood, the sisterhood, where you get groomed and taught, you know, higher level information. So you have to work your way through by coming in, you know, don't stay on the outside. Go to your nearest community and get involved, interact, be around, you know, people that are living Wu-Sabat, that will help you with your generating the energy that is more on the higher vibration and ethers. I hope that helps you. Okay, let's go. Rahubat, Coca Brown, Rahubat, Fifi, Rahubat, what do the symbols on the collar of your coat symbolize? The U inside an O. The U inside an O. Oh, these. Oh, yeah, some of them are, the information is given to you through the orders, but you can see a crescent and the sun. Yeah, that's what it is. But we have different designs. Some of them have the Nuwaubic, what you would call letters. We say harufat as well. So they're different designs, but that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the crescent. Okay. Okay, remember, if you haven't pressed the like button on the video, press the like button, because it helps the algorithm to give us more views, etc., etc. So
share.
All right. I feel like Christianity is lying to me. That's from Dot. It is lying to you. That's why you're feeling it, because you can feel when people lie to you.
It's not making sense, man.
Yeah. NR Rahubat. Okay. Godly Goddess, I would like to know how to go about starting a community in Southern Africa. I'm not sure if we've spoken to you before, but if you're not in the Telegram group, join the Telegram group. In fact, anyone that's on the live that hasn't joined the Telegram group yet, join the Telegram group and then connect with us, because we can then help you and, you know, guide you in how to go about that, all right, in terms of opening and starting a community. Initially, a community can just start with what we call a study group. That means that if you have a few people, it could be 3 people to 5 people, you'll arrange to meet and study together and study the scrolls and then, you know, just socialize and study, and from there we will work with you, and then you might know enough to start having question and answer classes, and then starting to share the information, and then we would work with you to actually grow that community, you know. So don't wait, you know, you can just get together in groups and start to study and study the scrolls, ask questions, and then come on the lives or in the Telegram group and get any clarification, because, you know, the master says, or even if you look at, going back to the question before about Christianity, Jesus says, I have many things to teach you, but you're not ready for them yet. And what did Paul do? He went out to go and start a church. And he didn't have the information because he says, you're not ready yet. And because of that, he's going to go away and he's going to send someone else to come, and the comforter to come and carry on and finish the work. So we're basically saying that with the enthusiasm and eagerness and zeal to want to start things, you still need to be yourself, have a sound foundation, because you don't want to misrepresent Wu-Sabat as well and, you know, give the wrong information or whatever. So it's important that you get that solid foundation first. Okay, where are we? From the, okay. A person in Zulu, no wait, before that. Can you expound on Kingu breaking away 11 billion years ago?
Is that the Moon Kingu?
Yeah, yeah, the story is in the Holy Tablets, because, I mean, he actually used a, what's the word? Not shield depleter. Was it a shield depleter? He basically, no, it was a bomb. It was a bomb. Yeah, it was a bomb. I'm trying to remember the name of the bomb.
Aerosol.
Nah.
But that was risk, innit?
Yeah, but anyway, just to give you the summary of the story, he wanted to rule and take over, and because he wasn't able to, much like what's going on today on the planet, where, you know, people that are very selfish, like, if I can't have it, you can't have it. So he decided to blow up the planet, and the part that he was on broke off and became, you know, the moon that you're talking about. But the thing is that there were different moons. So, but in the language, the words used might be the same word used for, you know, like the sun has many names and the moon has many names. Got a caller? Okay. Rahubat, who's calling? What's your name and where you're calling from? What's your question, please?
Yeah, it's T from the UK. Basically, I wanted to ask you, like, I'm hearing you like speak on this on the live and stuff, and I'm thinking, all the questions that you answer and stuff, this is all work from the master teacher, and he's like allowed you, like, all the knowledge that you've got, you've gained it from him.
Is that your question?
No, I'm just asking just like, because it's like, every time someone asks something, you have an answer, and it's like you know everything. Like, not that you know everything, it's just that you know all that you need to say to answer the person's question. I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, wow, like,
yeah,
this man that you're saying is like the master teacher. He's given all of this knowledge.
And then some.
I mean, he's got 76 trillion years of knowledge to give us, and
Crazy, bro.
yeah, I know. Oh, it's Tony. I just recognize your voice, T. Yeah, sorry, I hope I haven't exposed you.
Because, like,
Yeah.
sorry, because I had to mute the live, yeah? No,
Yeah.
not mute it. I had to pause it, yeah? So it's unpaused. So
Yeah.
maybe you've carried on speaking, so I haven't got to that stage yet.
That's fine. I will. Yeah. So it's amazing because, all right. So yes, of course, we all go to like school and we learn what they teach us in that world, but it doesn't cover anything about what we really want to know if you're searching for answers to deal with your soul and, you know, where you come from and where you're going.
And the universe.
And the universe, yeah. The master teacher, Partner Babyanon, Dr. Malachi Z. K. York, has written and published over 1,000 books. Yeah. So you can literally spend your life learning and studying. So the more you learn, and
It's like,
sorry, go on. No, but what I'm saying is,
it's kind of like, nah, it's just like, it's crazy, like, all the information that you, like, say, like, when I'm, like, listening, I'm just like, how do you know so much detail, like, of all the questions that you're being asked and stuff, and you're just answering these questions, and it's like, you're saying that this man came and gave us all this knowledge, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking,
well,
how come he's where he is now? can't we, like, what can we do to help him get out? Because, like,
we're gonna look at the link that's posted in the comment section, because it says how can I help, and that's how you can help. But you can help by living Wu-Sabat, like, because you become, like you say, you're saying about me, but there's so many of me, because most organizations or like religious groups, they like to hoard the information, like I'm the guy, I'm the special person, and you have to come through me to go to the Father. But the master teacher is a supreme being, and a God makes gods in his image and his likeness. You see, so he's made me and my brother and a million other people on the planet in his image and likeness. And you've asked such an important question, because the difference is that you have to apply the information. You have to, become like him in terms of teaching the knowledge, spreading the word, and being an example that he has taught you. But sometimes people get stuck. I was speaking to another brother this week. I was saying, like, you can't become stagnant, because change is constant. So some people just, the first time they come across Wu-Sabat, they're so excited that they've actually found the truth and it answers their questions. And then some people can just get stuck there, and they never then move further on, which is start to...
Because it's overwhelming, because you've answered probably something that's critical to them, and they're still stuck on it, because they're thinking, wow, someone's been able to answer this question.
Right. So then the next step is to start reading. And some people start reading, and then they get stuck there, where they're just reading, and they don't actually apply the information. So the next step is to start applying the information. And when you apply it, it's about coming together, working together in love and unity. Then you become what we say, you're God, right? God is supreme being. Now you have to then do godly things and actually start to build and manifest that. So you never stop asking questions, you never stop reading, and you shouldn't stop the action. So everything is progressively, and you have to keep learning and keep studying and staying close to the master teacher, because some people get to a point they think, oh, I've got all I need now, let me go off, like I was just saying, and then they go off on a tangent and get lost. Say that again.
What do you mean when you say, like, stay close to, like, the master teacher?
Meaning he's still here, he's still alive, he's still teaching, he's still giving us information, and he's giving us words. Like he says, let my words be known. Like, if you don't stay up to date with what he's teaching, then you can get lost. And you hear sometimes people will be asking us questions and referring to things that we've moved on from in the different schools that we've gone through. You see, so some people get stuck in religion, they get stuck in Islam, they get stuck in Christianity, they get stuck in Egyptology. And he's like, I've got so much I can keep going. Like, never think that, you've got it all, because, you don't, because I've got 76 trillion years of information to give you all.
So is that why you say, like, live in the present moment, so that you don't get stuck in the past? Or, so that you still keep on learning, basically, because if you learn today, tomorrow's going to...
Yes, right.
Comes when you're alive, then you're going to learn tomorrow as well. So it's like you're learning in the present. There's two things that I just want to say quickly, so I know I can just jump up, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm very happy to, like, learn Wu-Sabat, but I want to know now how to, like, be part of, like, the orders and stuff like that. And also, you guys that are sitting there, are you part of all the orders? And then the second question is, I know that you've said that there's a few ways to get the master teacher out, but it's like, I can't sit here anymore, man. It's like, he's done all of this here, and we, obviously, some of us are really grateful, so we're learning it and we're applying and stuff, but you can't just leave him there, man. Like,
absolutely.
Watch, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand? Like, this is the part that is touching me.
Yeah.
I can't allow the man to stay there, even if I have to give everything that I've got and I have no house left. At least it will be a worthwhile thing, because this man is a great teacher, bro. Look at all the things that he's given us, and then you're saying it's like some of the other orders or some of the other, like, I don't know, clubs or I don't know what.
I got you. Yeah.
They've got some of this information, but you're saying that they're hoarding it, so they know some of these things already. Sharing.
That's right. That's right. All right. All your questions that you've just asked right now, they all tie into one. So let's address that. Thanks for your call as usual, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah. So he's saying like, are we in the orders? Yes, we are. And what do you do is follow instructions, as we and those before us have walked a walk that you're wanting to walk. So what we say is, start studying, start reading, asking questions. Because if you watch the first video we did, right, we both explained that when I went to class, I was amazed at the teachers, because everything I asked them, they were able to answer. And it wasn't just me. Everyone else that was asking questions, they were able to answer. And we were sitting there thinking exactly what you've just expressed, like, how are these guys able to answer every single question that's put to them? And once you get your questions answered, where you've had these questions for a very long time and no one else could answer them, it just makes it easy, because your soul, the real you, wants to know more, because it's on a journey. And that's why we say he covers 360 of the physical and 360 of the spiritual, making you a complete being. And it's up to you whether or not you sup with him, stay close, and let him groom and guide you. So you start to be around family, then you work your way, as you're saying, to the orders. And then when we're working together as a community, another thing you said that's so important is there's some 8 billion people on the planet, and they all need to know about who he is. So spreading the word and making the world know about Thunderbird Yanun, it's in itself such a massive job. And then, of course, as you say, whatever contributions that you can give as a person, it could be, you know, just you living Wu-Sabat, representing Wu-Sabat, and whatever financially or whatever you can do to help, that also comes with it. Being a part of community, helping, you know, coming to events. There are so many things you can do, but it's all about coming together and working together to help, like my brother said, cure the problems of the world. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, just making other people aware of who this man is and his teaching, you're doing your part. Because there's a lot of people that still walking the planet that haven't heard of who the master teacher is, or his information. So it's up to us to spread this beautiful information.
Sure. A person in Zulu is Umu-nutu. People is Aba-nutu. So I am just a person new to free master teacher. Okay, I think he was clarifying what I was trying to pronounce the name. Thank you for that. And for Emmanuel, from the video of 3 Jesuses, I want to know if the one who transfigurates to Judas was Jew, and does mean Judas was once crucified. The question is not very clear.
I think he's saying if Judas was the one that transformed himself into Joshua, or the
No, it says, from the video 3 Jesuses, I want to know if the one who transfigurate to Judas. No, okay, let me clarify that. We're going to have a call.
Mixed up.
Yeah, you've got it mixed up. Let's take that, because the person's holding it. We'll come back to that question. Rahubat.
Hello?
Hey, Rahubat. I was just going to tell you to mute because it was echoing back. But yeah, how are you, Rahubat?
I'm good, thank you, Robot.
Your name is, and what's your question?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Rosalind. I'm calling from Canada. And I was watching one of the lessons where Saquon was speaking about, they were watching the video of Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard, yeah.
And that was so amazing. Wow, that was so cool. But the part that really shocked me was when Saquon said that chickens are hybrided miniature dragons or dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, yes. You are speaking to Saken, by the way.
Okay. I was kind of shocked. He just threw that out there.
Well, you know, this is what Wu-Sabat does. It gives you the information that no one else does. It's like when you look at an animal today, like when you see dogs, you have to think, where do they originate from? And dogs originally were wolves.
Yep.
And this is the joke that Master gave us. He said, this is why dogs are always trying to tell you what they are, but they tell you, we're wolf, wolf. We're not dogs, we're wolves, right? Because they come from wolves. And that's an actual fact. So just giving you another one. But yeah, the Master Teacher is very, very hilarious, by the way. He's so funny. Right, but yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I have been listening to some of his old videos, which is, quite interesting. And I've been following the sister who does, she speaks, her channel is the Hereafter Doctrine.
Yes.
And
Nuntat.
that has been, that's so amazing. I suggest that for anybody who's learning. And
Tour.
I did order some scrolls. The other thing is there
We've got so many
scroll
callers
on
coming through.
the animals? Like, how do we identify what is, what I guess the original animals would
Okay,
be?
okay. Let's touch on some of it. There's a book called The Dog, which goes into a lot of information, and he explains when you look at a pig, for example, it was originally a hog, and the hog was put together as an ancient hoover from rodents, which is a rat, a cat, and a dog.
Yeah.
Right. That's what created the pig today that people are eating.
Okay.
Without knowing it. And there's another scroll called the Sons of Canaan, the Sons of Canaan, that goes into a lot of information. There's a more up-to-date actual fact. It's 18 plus 1, 18 plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. The scroll, the actual fact my brother's holding, actual fact number 22. It's called 18 plus 1 equals 37 genes of the mitochondrial DNA. Because what it is, he's explaining to us, like, the different races on the planet, especially the Adamites, they were mixed with the Homo simian, the Homo porcine, and the canine. You see, so when you start to look at genetics, the two scientists, what's his name, Justin, I can't remember their name. The two people that basically deciphered the human genome by doing the project, to be able to now identify by way of DNA exactly where everybody on the planet comes from and what they're mixed with in terms of their DNA. So those scrolls I've mentioned will give you more information on the different animals. Of course, the Holy Tablets goes into a lot of information as well, talking about the different reptilians. We also have, many books like Shambhala and Agatha that talks about the beings that mix with different people, like the Dwanis, the Teros, the Deros, the Shaggies, the Donakil. So many of the scrolls cover these different beings, the many species of reptilians, the draconians, etc., etc. So the more you study, the more you're going to find out about the animals. Does that help?
Yes, it does. And I guess with the insects being that too?
Yeah, it does. It talks about, even the scroll called the Akasha Records talks about I think it's the mantis, yeah.
Cockroach.
It talks about the Andromedans. There's so many different beings that we are mixed with, or a lot of hybrids are mixed with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I did send some questions in the chat, and
okay. We're working through them as much as we possibly can, so hopefully we'll get to them.
I really appreciate you guys' dedication and passion, and
thank you. We can't do this without you asking questions, so we're appreciative of you, or appreciative of you as much as you do us.
And great, the master teacher, and
yeah, and you've just reminded me, even when you look at, like, we did a video on Valentine's, and we talk about, even the Caucasians talk about Romulus and Remus as at the birth, which is dealing with the wolves and stuff. So again, you will find most people tie back to some type of animal, like the Dogons talk about coming out of the waters and, you know, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of information around what you're asking. All right, so we've got more people trying to call, so we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you. Okay, right. Going back to that question of the three Jesuses. So you've kind of got it the wrong way around. We're saying it wasn't, the transfiguration was not to Judas, but to look like Yeshua. So he transfigured Judas to look like himself. Yeah? And the word Jew didn't even exist. So, because there are no J's or V's in, was it W? W, thank you. In the Hebrew.
Yeah.
So, so that's what happened. And because remember that they were looking for him and they didn't know who he was. And then they had to get Judas to kiss him, to identify him.
Yep.
And in that, the switch happened, and then they were scuffling, and then they took Judas because he was now transfigured the other way around, so that they thought, and that if you read the story closely and see what he's saying, and obviously that's what happened. And so, yeah, I hope that's helped you, because
Get the Gospel of Barnabas.
yeah, we've even got the Trinity, the real Trinity. So it's there somewhere, but the real Trinity, if you can get hold of it, that goes into it, and it shows you the three Jesuses being, yeah, I see it. Oh gosh, Jamal, Rahubat.
What's up? What's
Real
up? What's up?
Trinity.
I'm good, yeah. Where you calling from? What's your question?
Calling from Atlanta, and my question is, hold on for one second, kind of throw me off guard a little quick.
That's all right.
All right. Yeah, my question is about the split between the people of Amun and the people of Ra. It's kind of like the people of Nubia and the people of Upper Egypt. I was wondering, what do you think was what caused the biggest split from there? I mean, I have a reason why.
Yes.
I just want to know your opinion on why they split. For me, you know, it's one side of the people is doing another, you know.
Yes, remember, it's not about our opinions, but it's pretty much the same thing that's happening today, like with religions, where you've got people saying they, you know, there's only one God, and to just worship one God. And then you have other people saying, in our culture, in our times, there were more than one God, or what you call God. So what was, okay. So what was happening was that, you know, like in ancient Egypt, you had the different dynasties, and you had different pharaohs, and people, you know, like the Ramesses. Should I just cut it? Yeah, you had different pharaohs, and with each one, people will gravitate to that person, and then it became a thing where we of the Ramesses dynasty, we of the Amun, we of the. So what happened then was, Aten decided that, you know, he wanted to bring everybody back together under one. So this is where the split of HTM, which was Heliopolis, Thebes, and Memphis. Yeah, so, you know, these were the major cities where the word On, Heliopolis is also known as On, where you get like Solomon. And we've explained that, you know, that actual person didn't exist because it's a combination of putting those three together as one. Where Sol deals with Sal, or the soul dealing with the sun, and Om is dealing with the tone. You know, Om, I spell O-M or A-U-M, and then you have the On, which is dealing with that Heliopolis, or what you're calling the city of the sun. So Aten, he decided to bring everybody together. So it was like not just the worship of Amun, but, you know, let's all bring it together under one being. And this is where religion picked that up, and now you have different denominations, different, like, you know, the monotheistic religions where you now got them, they're called the three frogs, and they now decided to go in separate direction, but really they're all one from Abraham, you see. So that's where the confusion comes in, and then it's picked up in the Bible in Revelation 3:14, where it literally tells you that Amun witnessed the creation of God, because God was then created into this thing now that, you know, you have even within one religion like Christianity, you have so many denominations, from Protestants, Catholics, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witness, and it goes on and on and on. And it's the same with Islam. It's the same with what they call Judaism. So this is then into like Islam today, where they will say there's only one God, only worship me, to have no other gods but me. And it's like, why are you jealous? And you're telling me to have no other gods, but you're saying there's no gods to have, so how can I have any other gods? You know, it's a contradiction. So then it's like,
Republican, Democrat.
yeah, then it splits into the two sides who fight each other, from Enlil and Enki, which is Yahweh and Baal, and then you just have two sides, and that's where all the competition comes in, because those wars that are going on between the two brothers became Jacob and Esau, and the list just goes on and on and on till today, where you have, my brother just said, like Republicans and Democrats, or conservatives and Labour, and whenever there's two sides, where there's football teams, it keeps this energy of fighting and competition going, so they can feed these deities that they are calling on with that energy that everybody is creating with chaos and wars, and, you know, and it goes on and on. So now the master teacher's here to kind of bring everybody again back to one and say, look, we're all under Pa'ut. Yes, sir, go ahead.
So yeah, so that brings me to my next question is that, okay, I mean, of course I know, you know, ancient Kemet, or, you know, ancient Egypt was the one that started monotheistic religion when it comes to one religion. In fact, I even go further and say the Arabs took that, our idea from, you know, of a one God concept, and made their Allah one God, even though Allah was never one God. It was
the 99 attributes and all of that.
the daughters and all this other stuff.
Right.
And then so I definitely understand that.
But you said something the other way around. It was more that we had many gods, because we recognized the many different ancestors, and they tried to make it into one because they wanted you to follow their one God, which is a contradiction anyway, because in the Bible, like you say, it's Elohim, is Yah, it's more than one. But yeah, I follow you.
Yeah. So that's, I think that's why I always say, especially with the Islam, is that they kind of believe their own thing, even though they take their ideas from either Christianity or from ancient Kemet, because they still believe in their idols. They just wiped out all the idols and just believe in one idol, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's, of course, Allah. So I definitely agree with you there. But my question is that if the biggest split, right, when it's split, you know, you got Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt seemed to be seemed to really go hard on this God of Amun thing. You know what I'm saying? Or the worship of the sun, or believing with the commandments of Akhenaten. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah.
But the Kushite people usually be very hard on that, while Upper Egypt was seen like more like, hey, we wanted to graft in this religion, probably do something new, and, you know, and it caused like a big split from the Lower Egypt to Upper Egypt. My question is this, is that if they was really down for their God and stuff like that, why did they collapse? Because they wasn't really
why did they what?
conquered by their collapsing.
They collapsed because they let foreigners in.
But I don't think they let foreigners in, man, because they...
No, Khufu, if you study Khufu, he actually loosened the immigration.
Yeah, he opened the door for
Yeah,
immigration.
and he opened the door, and this is where you had a lot of, like, when people say, like, a lot of, like, the people think Egypt was ruled by, like, Greeks, and that's because they came there. When they came, they started to be, they were studied and they were initiated into the lower mysteries, and then you had, like, the Phoenicians, and obviously these foreigners started to come in, and that's when it all went pear-shaped. And so now people are mixing the practices that came by way of these foreigners. So when you see things like the Thule papyrus, or when they talk about the perversions, when they're talking about the priesthood of Amun, for example, all those things were nothing to do with the original, what, you know, people call Egyptians, but we know as the original Pataites that that, you know, yeah, came from Ptah, and those beings, like, you know, Bes, etc. So yes, it's when it was falling, we would say, that happened. I've got this this, sorry, one second, I just want to show you this scroll, or this, funnily, we just did a video, which is going to come out soon, this one here, right? So this, this is the book, if you can see it, called Coming Forth by Day, which a lot of people misinterpret as the Book of the Dead. And this, the master teacher put out, it goes into a lot of detail in relation to what you're asking, yeah? I don't know if you can get hold of it, but that goes into a lot of information regarding what you're asking. All right.
So
Sure.
do you think? So you think that you know, our biggest downfall was integrating other cultures inside of our own culture?
Absolutely.
I think that,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think, but that goes back to racism in a sense, right? Because like as us black people, we can always want to join hands with everybody and not be racist. But in a sense, I think that we need to do that because we need to stick to our own culture, our own kind, you know, marry our own people and stuff like that, and go with our own commandments and our own God, and believe in our own ancestors instead of going integrating with others.
Okay, I hear you, but the thing is, there's only really one race on the planet, because if everyone comes from the one race, then you cannot be racist, because they're your children, if you look at it that way. And when you raise above these lower vibrations, divisions, when you're talking about, you know, people saying we are different or we're better or we need to stick to our own, the master teacher is showing you that no one wins the race in racism. And when you practice your culture, that's not being racist. If you have a preference for your own race, that's not racism. What people do is they're misconstruing what they're referring to as racism with you having, it's like a person, if you look at the musical instruments or even professions, you'll have like a dentist, you'll have a guitarist, a pianist, and a violinist with the ist at the end, right? So when you say racist, people think it's wrong to prefer your race. Every race prefers their race. That's natural. There's nothing wrong with that. So if I prefer to be a dentist, apart from any other profession, it doesn't make you hate the other professions. So if I prefer my race over other races, it doesn't mean you have to hate or dislike other races, because we were made to be different and to then, so
I'm more focused on the culture, like the priesthood of it. Should we like?
Right, I was just literally going to go on to that, because there's we have this, the 33 commandments. The 33 commandments. We do have our own culture, our own language, our own way, and our own tones and vibrations and everything, like every other race does. The issue with us is that, like you say, most don't know what their culture is. They don't know what they should be doing, their language, what their foods are, what their dance is, what, you know, is for them, and what their tones are. So we borrow others who have got it from a watered down version of ours. Do you see what I mean? So you're right that we're supposed to know of each other, but when you're dealing with DNA and your legacy and prodigy, it's not like if you decide to have children amongst yourselves to preserve your bloodline and your DNA and things like that, that's not being racist. That's just, you know, that's science. It just makes sense.
That's dealing with natural nature.
Yeah. Like you don't see, like in the animal kingdom, you're not going to see a horse go and mate with a tiger.
Or camel.
Or camel, you know, they're like, that doesn't happen. But in our world, it's like people just think it's okay to just mix with, you know, everybody and anything and produce all kinds of hybrids, which is causing some of the problems on the planet. But yeah.
So you don't think that even in a church, it shouldn't be mixed in the church?
They shouldn't even be churches. That's the problem. The churches are the problem.
Well, you know what I mean. It's hard to get out of my...
Well, it's only hard because they don't know. And that's why Wu-Sabat has got to spread. There should be no mosques. There should be no churches.
No synagogues.
No synagogues. But the thing is, the spell has been here for 6,000 years. And this is what it has caused. And all those people, all the songs that have ever been written on about religion, the pamphlets, the books, this, you know, everything that people do, they're just perpetuating the spell. So this is why Wu-Sabat has to be, most people in church, when they come across Wu-Sabat, they get their answers, all their questions answered. They learn their way of life that they should be living, and then they leave the church. A lot of people would tell us, you know, we've left the church, we've left the mosque, you know, we're now happy that we found a way.
Yeah, but the thing is that, okay, should we allow people who believe in Islam into the same culture of ours, or somebody who believes in Christianity believe in the same culture of ours, or should we just keep our own culture?
No, what I'm saying is, Islam, Christianity, these are all religions. This is part of the spell. So once you wake up from the spell, you then live Wu-Sabat, which is not a religion. It's a culture and a way of life, which is going to be beneficial to you if you apply it. So we just have to remember, most of us were once in those churches, mosques, and synagogues, and only when we search for answers and we're looking for answers that the master teacher is here, and he answered our questions. So there are many people in the churches and in the mosque and the synagogues that are waiting for us to reach them and to pull them out. And that's what our job is, so that they will know the truth instead of being lied to. Yeah. All right.
I hear you.
Thanks for your call. So much, no problem. Anytime. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Blessings, forever grateful. Okay. What do this organization feel about Maku, Black Thunderbird, Eagle, Independent State? Right, when you say this organization, it sounds like it's separate. That was one of his titles, and but he has evolved and has taken us to the point where, he's saying we are focusing on Africa, or Afafre Ka'a, and there's another call. So we recognize him as the title, but for now we're just focusing on Wu-Sabat and the fact that we're indigenous to the planet, originally from what we call Ganawa, which became known as Africa. So it's about your DNA and not trying to claim lands and locations. Okay? Greetings. Rabat.
I just listened to really cool.
Caller, can you hear us? Rosalind, you're still playing. I can hear us echoing back. You sure she's there? She's not answering.
Hello? Hi, it's Rosalind again, calling from Canada.
Rosalind, I'm going to teach you a word. Say Rahubat.
Rahubat.
Rahubat. Yes. Because hello is, yeah, it's a low vibration. I'm playing with you, but yeah, we do try to stay away from those tones. But go ahead.
Just to piggyback on the brother that spoke earlier on the racism and things, I think that is the big issue with the concept of what is religion and what is culture, and breaking down on the genetic, the concept of, that most people prefer their own, but we have to always defend ourselves when it comes to why we prefer our own. And I noted even within the funeral services of the different
Races?
Like let's say the Caribbean people or Trinidadians or Jamaicans, when their loved ones pass, most of these people are connected to a church, Catholic church, Christian church, and there's none of their cultural sharing going on in those places. Like their music isn't being played, the food, the whole system.
Yeah, that's because they don't know what their culture is.
Exactly. And I believe these churches settings are actually placed for the mixing of the people to mix together.
Yes.
That's in Africa as well.
Yes, because remember, it's all about ghost worship and feeding these dead. And funnily, that book I picked up, I was going to touch on that. We've just got a video coming out called the Book of the Dead or something along that line, because the Book of the Dead, which most people refer to, is because, as you say, funeral rites were where they would write, what they call them, a eulogy, right? And they will put that in the sarcophagus of the person. And these writings became known as the dead man's book. This is where that term, the Book of the Dead, came from. But it was really the coming forth by day, because we recognize the sun. I think somebody else asked a question about the sun, which we'll touch on. But so it's all about trying to feed the dead people that are now disembodied souls, or disembodied spirits rather, that are roaming, and they need the living to feed them that energy. So this is why Dracula is a being that deals, and they deal with worshipping the dead, known as necromancy, which is why the Catholic Church and Christianity, they say, take this and eat it, which is the flesh or the body of Christ, and then they give you a drink to drink, and they say this is the blood of Christ. So they're teaching you to eat the flesh and drink the blood of a dead person that's no longer around. And this energy is all feeding these beings that need the living. So the churches, with all their songs and all their gospels and all the energies, all being, and even when we say possessions, these there's like thousands of
Legions,
people, legions that are being possessed every Sunday all around the world in these churches and in these mosques and things. So you've really hit on a very important point. Like I said, there's a video, look out for that. We want that to go to 100K in the first week. But it's really deep when you start to look at the connections between these dead people who are from the Draco constellation, known as the Draconians, which becomes the story of Dracula, because Dracula can't take the sun. He needs to come out and what they call in the night, and he needs to feed off of the blood of people. And then you take this to the beings that were hemophiliacs, that they didn't clot, and ties into the War of the Roses with the Lancasters and the Yorks. So there's so much connection with this whole, even the slavery that people talk about, was all about the blood, because the blood is what they feed off of, and they feed off of this energy that is created in these churches in the world with all the chaos. So yes, it's a very touchy and serious subject, and we need to, that goes all to 6 ether forces basically, and that's why 9 ether is here, because 9 ether deals with the sun, which is alive, and most of the religions, they deal with the moon, which is dead, which doesn't have life, and it needs the sun for its light, because it's non-luminous. So when you start to look at the moon and tie that to the moon cycle of the last 6,000 years, this is what the spell of, you know, Leviathan and the spell of Kingu and the 6 ether spell is about, which 9 ether has come with the new cycle of 24,000 years known as a sun cycle to basically renew everything. But we just got to wake more people up so that they wake up from that spell of sleep. I hope that helped.
Yes, that does. One last question. Speaking on the moon, how does, because I don't have the book for the divine feminine, feminine, but how does the moon cycle relate to the female menstrual cycle? How does that?
Right. That ties in because of the waters, because the tidal waves pulls, because it also relates because of the cycle that, because you have a lunar calendar and you have a solar calendar, and the menstrual cycle is related to the different stages of the moon, and because of the waters as well, that because the moon pulls, as I said, on the tides,
cools down the temperature of the planet.
Yeah.
And by that, it pulls in the.
But there's more information in terms of, the moon thing, because in Islam they try to say that the moon, they make the moon more, more valuable. Can't think of a word than the sun. But the master teacher taught us and pointed out that that's because they were worshipping the moon cycle. But he pointed out that without the sun, nobody would survive on the planet. Even to say your prayers in Islam, you need to know the position of the sun to say the prayers. So everyone really does worship the sun, S-U-N. But they then had to transfigure that into S-O-N in religion to have Jesus being the Son of God, and then now giving you an image to worship, which is the 6 ether ghost spell or ghost image. So if you look at religion, they basically take the moon, which would be a crescent or one of the positions of the moon, or a star, which they would use an interlocking 6-pointed star. So the symbols of, if you look at the 3 monotheistic religion, they will have either a 5-pointed star or a 6-pointed star with a crescent, you see. But they make the sun inside the crescent, which is the moon, which doesn't make any sense, because the sun cannot fit inside the moon. This is all part of the reverse psychology to have you on the moon worship for the last 6,000 year moon cycle. And when you go into the studying of the language as well, you start to see they have moon letters, and literally everything is all tied in intricately to the spell of the moon cycle. But we're out of that now as of the year 2000, but people are still not fully awake. So we have to reach those people, in other words. All right.
Is the moon actually supposed to be there? Or is
Well,
that
you mean our moon? Because there are many moons, right? Moons are satellites to the planet, but our moon is actually, it was, I'm kind of lost for words today. It's artificial. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. It was put there, and you have greys that are inhabiting that moon today. It's like a satellite that is used to monitor a lot of the activities on the planet by the greys.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's artificial.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay, right, where were we? Okay, here we go. Yeah, we covered that. Who the artist, brethren? I don't get that. Live Cape Town. Do you understand that question? No. Free Baba, yes, definitely. Pata Anu, are you all replacing the people writing history today for the next? Yes, we are, but not the next 1,000 years, but the next 24,000 years. All right.
We're the renewers, mate.
Greetings, Rahubat. Who's calling? What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question?
Yeah, Francis Arno. I'm calling from Barbados.
Rahubat.
Well about.
Robert, I've been following you for quite approximately a couple of weeks now, but I appreciate what I've been learning and experiencing, and it started giving me some full changes, and I start to see things much better now.
All right.
Thanks.
Reason
Give
for
thanks.
calling- Reason for calling, I had an experience while I was at rest on my bed. Okay, I was resting, and suddenly I opened my eyes and I saw 3 human-like creatures standing alongside my bed. Okay, they did not have human faces; they had creature faces, but human body. Okay, from the neck down was human body. They had arms, legs, everything. When I tried to open my mouth to shout out, I couldn't say anything at all. Voices was gone. Okay, my dog was lying right alongside my bed. My dog was fast asleep. And suddenly they just disappear. And as soon as they disappear, my voice just burst out. Okay? Very loud. And then my dog started to bark. So I
Right.
just need the help to understand what is it that I experience.
Well, it sounds like you had a visitation by some extraterrestrials. Maybe they were considering abducting you for a moment and then something changed their mind, or maybe they came to give you a message, and you never know. But we send a lot of maybes because that's your experience. But yes, extraterrestrials are making themselves more and more visible. Many years ago, people would think we're crazy or people are crazy to talk about these things. But visitations and abductions have been happening all over the world. And right now, it's even more prevalent because of we're at a point again where there's threat of World War III. And every time we, or those irresponsible humans that think playing with atomic weapons and, you know, nuclear weapons is not a serious thing. Extraterrestrials know that they can actually destroy the whole planet and the galaxy, and many beings live on this planet. You know, many extraterrestrials live here in the waters, on the surface, in the air, walking amongst us, you know, breeding with us. So they have a stake on the planet. So if you threaten to damage the planet and open portals and all kinds of stuff, then they're going to step in. So I'm saying that to say that they're becoming more and more visible, especially a few months ago when the orbs, what they refer to as drones, there were many orbs that people were seeing, excuse me, and extraterrestrial craft. So you may just be someone that is having an experience of, but I mean, what you said actually is not new. Many people have had, you know, visitations and extraterrestrials encounter. So that's,
Okay, so that adoption, will that be what? Something good, or?
It depends on who's abducting you and why. And some of them, like, it's funny, I was reading, if you read the Akasha Records or if you read Man from Planet Risk and read the master teacher's story of his abductions and things like that, there's even a recording on YouTube called Malachi's Abduction that you can listen to.
Yes. Yes.
In his case, it obviously was a good, because these beings came to help prepare him and to guide and be with him in terms of him carrying out this mission. But there are greys and other extraterrestrial beings that don't have emotions and don't have feelings, and they abduct people for experimentation. Some get given messages to come and share with humanity. So it all depends on the situation and who it is. Some abduct people for food, unfortunately, as well.
Wow.
Yeah, if you watch movies like The Fifth Kind, is it the fifth? The Fourth Kind.
Yeah. How to Serve Man.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone.
How to Serve Man, Twilight Zone. You know why I keep moving? Because he's over here. So I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, now that you're aware, you've got to start disciplining yourself, studying Wu-Sabat, knowing about how you protect yourself by certain tones, vibrations, and certain rituals. That's why we say, get your head in the books, you know, because you get all your answers in the books, and then know how to, you know what I mean, carry and live, and then work with others in the community.
But are there anyone in Barbados who
absolutely, yes.
Get in the book? Because I've been looking on Facebook and
Yeah.
Instagram trying to find out.
How far is Barbados from Trinidad? Not far, is it?
It's approximately an hour and
Right.
a half by air.
So we have a community in Trinidad. If you're in if you're not in our Telegram group, join our Telegram group. There's a community in Trinidad, and they cater for Barbados as well. So the best thing would be link up with them. We'll give you the details in the Telegram group, and yeah, they're doing a lot of building works out there that needs help as well. So definitely connect with Trinidad.
Well, that'd be of great help to me. I'll appreciate it.
All right. Have you put the link in the chat? Okay, cool. So join the Telegram group, and we'll definitely work with you on that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Appreciate love. Okay, let's keep going. How you feeling?
We need to go out to Barbados as well, mate.
we need to travel the world. We want to do a tour.
Yeah, tour.
I think South Africa has asked us to come.
Yeah.
Where else? So many people want us to come, but
Kenya.
Yeah, that's right. We would love to.
Canada. Yeah, we need to do a world tour, man.
Question: can you be hereafter without being in Baba state on HIM scroll of true and living people? That question is a bit confusing. Can you be hereafter? We're already in the hereafter. Without being in Baba state on HIM scroll of true and living people. That's Pata Anu. I don't know, you might need to clarify your question a bit for us, but we're already in the hereafter, hereafter the year 2000, and hereafter the devil has been removed from the planet, so we're living in it. Rahbat, our role is the scroll of life. That's right, we're living, so we are rewriting that scroll every day. Turning in from Port Elizabeth, Rahubat, South Africa, okay. Got another one. I don't even hear it ring.
Hello?
Rahubat.
Rahubat, brothers. How are y'all doing?
Yeah, we're doing our best.
Good.
We're good. How are you?
I'm fine. Is this the camp?
Tour, yes.
Wow, okay. This is my first time calling. I've been watching for almost like 2 months now. I came from like a really like strict Muslim family, but since I started watching Wu-Sabat, like it changes me altogether. Like I'm like, that's crazy. But my question is, like how I try to get all the books by time. I'm in West Africa now. How should I try and get the books?
We're really working hard on that, because we've been getting a lot of people. We're going to supply West Africa. In fact, the whole of Africa.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just taking time. We need more help. There's a lot of work to be done. In the meantime, are you in the Telegram group already?
Yes, I'm in the Telegram. I've been in the Telegram group for like almost like 3 months now. I just been.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one of the ways you learn in real time. We'll put a lot of material in there that you can refer to. We give you a lot of excerpts in terms of the books. But the thing is, when you work and come in closer, then there are things that are shared with you that are not shared outside.
I'm really ready now. I really want to join.
Right.
And the months too, but I live with my parents at the moment, and I'm 21 years old.
Right, you got that Barry White deep voice. You do not sound 21, but yeah. Okay, that's good. We like the young blood, the new people that can help really, yes, learn, study, and become teachers and spread Wu-Sabat. So we definitely. I didn't catch your name. What's your name, bro?
My name is Nabil Salisu.
Okay.
Nabil.
All right. Yeah, I'm in the Telegram group as well, so you can DM me and we can see how we can help you out with some books. We'll send some books out there to you guys.
So what, can you form a little group where you are now? Have you got other people that you can talk to dealing with this doctrine?
Yes, I've talked to my friends. One of my closest friends is a Muslim too, but like I explain everything to him. I tell him who Dr. Malika is Yokis, and I explain everything. It's like, damn, this makes so much sense. Like I explain everything. He said that, like, if there is a way that we could join.
Sure, we will work with you.
There is no sport here too.
That's what I'm saying. We got so much work to do, and but you have to be groomed. You have to be guided, you know, so that you know the techniques and the ways of how to be most effective and efficient. So you're already in the right place, being in the Telegram group, and we're gonna definitely help and work with you. All right?
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
You need to get out there, man.
I'm telling you. Right, the master teacher gave a document. Okay, yes, that's what I'm saying. That's again why it's important to stay close. I've got that document you're talking about right here, but we're not focusing on that right now. So I'm saying, come closer, come to the community, visit your local, you know, temple, bookstores, jurisdictions, so that we can actually, you know, yeah, because that's not something that he's focusing on right now in terms of the UNNM. All right, so that was a while back, because you were saying book that is used to become a member, that we was to take this document and file it. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, people have gone ahead and done many things and they don't really fully understand what the master teacher was doing back then. So oh yeah, you do say, is it still valid? No, at the moment, that's not something that we're recommending for you to do. You should be coming in so that you can be updated on what's going on. It says, what did Dr. York mean when he said, when you all learn the Constitution and retain sovereign government info, like you all know the doctrine, then yes, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of update to that information. If you get the 33 commandments, if you haven't already, yep, this one here, 33 commandments of the Sabian, and the Psalms of Yanun, and the Proverbs of Yanun, a lot of that information has been updated. Okay, let's keep going. Bruska, Rahubat, can a Caucasian after death incarnate into a Nagaru in their next life as part of the process of transcending, provided they did the works necessary? You see, this is kind of what they do and have done in terms of, I was explaining about the blood mixing in, because whenever we get to the time where their time is up by way of, you know, the genetics, in terms of every 300 years they need to mix, and this is how they get into the blood, by mixing. And many people have spirits that are utilizing their physical shell. You can house many spirits, and some of these spirits are what will keep you in sixth ether if you're listening to their voices in your head. So yes, this is how, when a Nagaru female mixes with, when a Caucasian female mixes with a Nagaru male, they then get upgraded. So yes, that is possible, and that's why they're pushing a lot of mixing now. If you look at the TV commercials, especially in the UK, before they never used to show much Nagarus. Now you see Nagarus, but they're always mixed.
Always
couples.
mixing. Yep.
So that's an agenda that is being pushed at the moment. So yes, that's possible. But remember, the life, because you say next life as part of the process. No, we're cool. Okay, I think we've actually answered that anyway, but look. Rahubat. Who's calling? What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
Yeah, it's T again, yeah?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask them, would it be possible for you to do like a specific video? Imagine like you've got an hour to like explain the master teacher to like an audience. I know that you're doing that now and you're obviously putting out his work and sharing it with everyone.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to post a video that you're going to do something like quite specific, just explaining the master
Funny
teacher.
how me and you were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I was speaking to you.
As many pictures as possible showing him.
Yes.
So that when someone watches this video, it's so informative, they want to really go and check out all the other content that you've got available about him, yeah? But it's like, I've seen that you're trying to get to the world. You mentioned earlier that there's 8 billion people on the planet, yeah? So obviously, but I can help with this information. For me, if I got something...
Yes, that's why I say don't try and go out before being prepared and groomed. So you need to come in, and it's some you got to pace yourself. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with like I said, it's bittersweet because you find that many people say they want the truth until they get it, because you then have to live it. But yeah, we need as much help as we can get. But at the same time, we want people to be in the community, to be versed in the doctrine, to know the culture, and then they will be helped to know how to best really go out there, for lack of a better word. Are you still there? I think he's gone. But it's not saying. No. Pata Anu, I keep telling you, bro, a lot of what you're saying is outdated information now, in terms of, not saying that information wasn't correct at the time, but yeah, it's been a lot of updates. Sorry, we lost you for a minute, T.
Yeah, I understood all of what you said. It's like, because I know I'm not capable at the minute, I don't have all the materials, I haven't rehearsed stuff, I haven't gone over stuff. I know that I'm not that teacher yet. So I'm relying on a video that you would do specifically to introduce. Yeah,
but I'm saying there's so much information that you won't fit all that in one video. And
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can just do a specific video on the master teacher.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. It's funnily, all three of us here were talking about this week, so that's how in tune you are. We were like, we definitely need just to do one video, like what you're literally asking for. So that means we're in tune. We'll get that done. Yeah.
The reason why I mentioned that, because on the Monday you do like a little video, don't you? Like for like about 50 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of like that, but specifically for the master teacher and just the stuff that you're obviously putting out there, but mostly about him.
Sure.
So that I can use that link and post it, so that when people see that video, it's going to get them.
I got you.
Intrigued to kind of come in and have a look more about this kind of teaching.
This great being. Yeah.
Because I know that I'm not capable right now of teaching that or
showing people. We hear you.
I understand a lot myself. So if I can use that video, post it out there, people watch it, then obviously they're going to come in, the ones of them that kind of want to do that sort of thing. Like, so
we hear you. So, we got you. We got you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Peace. Thank you. The language video was so grounding. Okay, Roro, if I'm pronouncing that properly. Thank you too. Oh gosh. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, this person. Are you an impersonator? Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you need to contact someone else. Or is that, okay. Yeah. Let me just finish this one second. Yeah, just join a community near you, Prophet Noble Juali. Rahubat, caller.
Robots again. It's me again, Nabil from Ghana, West Africa.
Yeah, Rahubat.
Lately, I began like what they call deja vu. You know what that means, like
Right.
deja vu lately and ringing in the ears these days. Can you like touch on that a bit?
Yes. We explained that deja vu, that's a French term, which is really talking about time traveling, basically, because you can travel back and forth in time. And so sometimes, and you have something called, your counterpart. You have a counterpart as well. And so you share information between yourself and your counterpart. The master teacher, Panda Babianun, Dr. Malachi Z. York, years ago recommended for us to watch a movie called Upside Down, which would try to explain what we mean by your what did I just say? Counterpart, that's it. So it's like when you're sleeping, they're awake, and when you're awake, they're sleeping. And you can share information as in the same dream, because you might go somewhere in your dream state, as in your counterpart or yourself, and then in your living or the wake state, you will pass that same position, and even if you've never been there before, but your counterpart has, you'll feel that I've been here before.
Okay.
And you'll be like, yeah, that's deja vu. And or you know, like, you could experience something by traveling into the future, even if it's briefly, and then coming back. And then when you catch up with that future, you say deja vu. So, yeah, that's what's happening with deja vu. You're welcome. All right. I feel like we should swap seats so you can answer. Okay. Okay, that question, Fifi, what does Goddess Hathor's crown symbolizes? The cow horns with sun disk inside, also bow images for child sacrifices has similar crown. Is it real? Also cow horns are demonized yet vastly used. Yeah, well, a lot of that you're going to learn in the orders of the Eastern stars, and you know, learn more about Hathor, who is known by many names as Isis, many names. So can't go into too much of the sacred feminine stuff, but a lot of the symbols are positive in ancient Tamaray, which they've, like you say, they've actually turned into something completely different. So, you know, like you see the Baphomet, which, you know, deals with the disagreeable side. So you're right that this is why they used to say that the Egyptians were pagans, because they had these masks and all of these symbols and crowns that they didn't really understand, because their nature related to that specific animal. And this is where even today, when you look at Hinduism and some of the practices, they worship the cow and they respect the cow. They say they don't eat they don't eat cows, because it ties back to that, what you're saying about Hathor and those horns. And you'll find some of that information inside the same scroll coming forth by day. But yeah, so I hope that's giving you a little bit of help. And that's where that Hathor becomes Isis, and the child, Horus, that's where religion, the monotheistic religion, get their
breastfeeding,
the breastfeeding of the child, the Black Madonna, and all like the Osiris, Isis, Horus becomes your God, Mary, and Jesus. Because most of the religions that you're practicing in the Western Hemisphere, the monotheistic religions, they all have their roots in ancient Egypt.
I remember in the old school, like the horns represented the expansion of the mind, innit?
That's right, that's right. Yoruba 9 ether. Yoruba can be the people, the place, the spirituality, but it depends of the people. The people are 9 ether, yeah, originally, yes. Oh man, okay, I'm not gonna cover that. Senswa. Good evening, sir. I would like what to believe in with so many belief systems out there. What is the right thing to do? How does one earn a ticket to be in the next life after death? You want to tell him?
Wu-Sabat. We don't have no beliefs, you know.
That's right.
It's all about knowing. Better to know than belief. The word belief means to accept something with no proof. So
yeah, just Wu-Sabat.
Yeah, Wu-Sabat's the answer. It's the antidote.
Sometimes some of our people are hard of hearing. Seriously. I'm saying, we've said so many times, so this is for Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Patar Anu.
What, the real Prophet Noble
Well,
Drew Ali?
that's his name. That's why I said his name is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, join our Telegram group. Patar Anu, join our Telegram group if you haven't already, and we can continue and give you more information regarding that.
We've got the Moya Science Temple in it, Circle 7 for him.
Yeah, we got it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me show him so he knows that we're not trying to like brush you off. We've actually covered this. I'm not going to go into it, but just to show you that we're on your page.
That's your book, man.
We know what you're talking about. Okay. All right, but come close, because we've kind of like evolved, and there are more things we need to give you in terms of what's going on with all that. Okay, Dorinda again. No, what about prayer? Please guide me, sir. Yes, when you come into Wu-Sabat and you study Wu-Sabat, let's make this really basic and simple, right? First thing is, you find out what Wu-Sabat is, what it's about. You learn about the master teacher. You start to study and read the books, listen to the audio recordings, the videos, so that you get a grounding and a foundation.
Did you say research?
Of course,
okay,
research.
Yeah,
research, check it out. Don't believe us, check it out.
That's right.
Because you need to confirm to yourself. People trying to run and like, how shall I do this? How shall I do that? But you're not doing the basics that we're asking for you to do. And, you've got to start with the basics, the foundation, before you build on top of that, all right? So when you're in Wu-Sabat, you learn all about prayer. You learn about the different aspects of our culture, you see. So
speaking in our language, our tones, that's it.
Does Wu-Sabat frown on conjure spells, magic? No, I enjoy setting my intentions along with affirmations, candles. Is this a wrong practice for Sabians to do? No, it's not, because we have these rituals. However, we just don't use any sort of sacrifices, blood, hair, anything to do with any type of sacrifices, all right? I tell you what, Rahubat, how you doing?
I'm good. It's Nabil again.
Yeah,
The
Rahubat.
question I have is on birthmarks.
Yes.
What's like birthmarks? Can you touch on that?
Okay. It all depends on the type of birthmark, because some are just caused by way of DNA, between the parents. It depends on the birthmark.
Genetics.
Genetics, there's so many reasons and causes for birthmarks. You can, I pretty much, unless it's some kind of alien abduction and they've put marks on you or something, but birthmarks are genetic, really. Life is a blessing. I was taught that mentally ill people are wicked and evil. So sometimes it makes me a bit fearful to interact with them. You know what Wu-Sabat does? Who taught you that? Why? How? Where's the facts? And, you know, in fact, the majority of people are mentally ill.
Yeah.
So it depends on at what level or to what degree. And it could be like we've explained before, you're interacting with beings that are communicating to you mentally by way of the radio in your head. So voices that you hear can influence you. So it depends on what you're classifying as mentally ill people. And not
30 spirits.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a part of that. You wanna, you haven't got it. Oh, you got it? Yeah, look through that and see. So we have many scrolls, partracks, that deal with like 30 spirits, you know, so many things in relation to mental health that we've actually done a video as well. I can't remember the title of it, that you can watch, that deals with, you know, what's happening with some of the mental health issues. Okay, people having a conversation. Yeah, Yoruba, as in, if you're Yoruba, there are certain, because the question, I'm Yoruba, that's why I'm asking if Yoruba are nine ether. Yes, it's a simple answer, but at the same time, other races and cultures have mixed in. And the original pristine practices of Yoruba is animism. And if you're of that bloodline, then yes, you can practice it, but you have to know in terms of doing it without the interference from other cultures and races where they actually introduced a lot of what people are calling sacrifices, like blood and chickens and all kinds of things, which is not our way, okay? Yeah, someone's answered that question anyway. What is your vision? What is your vision? What is your vision of, this is from Agnes. What is your vision about Lilith?
Or view? No?
Some people see her as a goddess, others as a demon, others just as an archetype. It depends on which Lilith you're talking about.
Oh, Lilith, okay.
Yeah, there's so many different Liliths. Just any name you think of or say, there were others, but
Not Tanushi's wife?
yeah, well, that was Adam's first wife, isn't it? Was it? Yeah, Lilith. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the story, but that's what I'm saying. People can demonize or see people in different ways, but I'll have to give you, I have to look up that and come back with some more information on. I'm just going through the chat. Mrs. TBJ, Rahubat. Where are we? How are we doing for time? Okay, we've got time. Okay, Patar News. Okay, let me go to Life is a Blessing. Since women were here before men, does that mean that they were bringing forth life by themselves? Correct, 100%. I mean, yeah, that's the simple answer, isn't it? That's the question. They were, yeah. Look up parthenogenesis and
About the barrier gland, isn't it?
yeah, the battling gland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who's that? Danoloka. Can you tell me? Hello. Can you tell me who is Lamech? There are quite a few Lamechs. So Lamech, is that a son of Noah? One of the... Lamech is, there are different Lamechs, and if you're quoting from the Bible, but it's a very broad question. It's like, can you tell me who is Peter? There are different Lamechs in the Bible. I can't actually remember the exact lineage of Lamech. This is Siya Bulela. When the master teacher taught Miss Bhatia, was it an active, existing, and a living language, or he revived an extinct language? It's a living language. It's yeah, you would say revived because it was the first language on the planet, and it was spoken outside the planet, spoken on Mars and spoken in different places. And it's just that it was the first language on the planet, but people didn't know the spoken form of it, but they discovered the written form, which is what you're calling hieroglyphics that you see on the walls of Egypt. And the kunai form or cuneiform is another script, which you saw in ancient Sumeria or Sumer. So those two scripts are scripts from this language. Then you had many other scripts as well. We've got the language book there. I did pick it up. I think it's that one right there.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be careful because it's taken apart. So he's put out this scroll my brother's holding up, yeah, called Lahej Shalil Wakut, the language of time. And in that he shows you how all the languages come out from it and made all the scripts that became Chinese script, Korean scripts, etc., the Demotic script, they all came out of, even Arabic, they all came out of Miss Bhatia. This is why when people hear some of the words that they've borrowed in their language, they'll say, oh, you're speaking our language, Arabic. No, it's the other way around, where you've taken and borrowed words from it. So because when you see how languages came and evolved to what they call, they say Semitic languages, but we know that it's Shem or Shemitic languages, that they go back to Miss Bhatia. So Miss Bhatia is active and it's alive. It's just that most people forgot about it and they needed a master teacher to come back and resurrect and give it back to us in its pristine form. All right? Yeah, we are student teachers of the master teacher, and you know, we're just here to share his word. So most, if not literally, but everything you hear us teach and talk about, this is all his work. So yes, we point you to the master teacher so you can read his scrolls and you can start becoming active in Wu-Sabat. Oh, Lamech from the Book of Enoch. Okay. Where are we? Ptah, are you talking about Ibrahim? Okay, so a bit of conversation going on here. Let's see any other questions. Should I read? I got most of Malachi's York books. Okay. Read them, study them.
Got most.
No, life is a blessing. Can smoking weed forcefully open your third eye, or does it just cause hallucinations? More of the latter, because you're not really supposed to be using intoxicants or anything that is going to obscure your mentality. TBJ. It would be so much easier if people are just ask questions, because this is called Ask Us. You can ask us anything. But you have so many conversations and statements that people are making, so we have to scroll through to try and find the questions. Okay, TBJ's got a question. Dr. J, when you spoke about Babel, are you saying that it was a radio tower or microwave tower? It was a transmitter. It was a radio. Yes, because they were using it to communicate. You know, like you have a radio, but then you have the antenna as well, or we say the aerial. So, like, they used, do you remember what they were calling the Ark of the Covenant? That was what you call the radio.
Yeah.
And then you had the antenna, which would be the tower. Like today, you've got the 5G towers everywhere. And then you will have a device that connects to the 5G network, you know, like maybe your cell or mobile phone or internet or whatever. So you need both. So like you've got a radio in your head right now, and people can send you information, frequencies, or you can tune into the right frequency to connect with your ancestors and receive their voices. So, you know, like when you're tuning on a radio, you'll hear static noise until you get to the right frequency, and then you'll hear it clearly. That's the same principle when you're trying to communicate. Nikola Tesla was doing that. He was one of the first people to build a receiver and a transmitter to speak to extraterrestrials. And he had a lot of information to do with how these beings were sending him information to build the things that he was building, in terms of, you know the battle with the AC and DC. If you haven't done that research, do some research on Nikola Tesla. But
Man
yes,
from Planet Risk.
that's right. So that's answered TBJ. The click language of Gusans were the first form of communication. Am I correct? Yes, because that comes from the dolphins. The dolphins and a lot of the sirens that were in the waters. This is why they use that echolocation, and they have that the click sound, because those beings you're talking about, the Sands people, evolved from those beings that evolved from the water as the Pataites. Yeah. Yep. Let's keep going. Sherlyn Gums, Rahubat, learned elders. I am really enjoying your classes as you continue the teaching of Baba Atumre. I have a question arising out of the video, the hidden power of frequencies and vibration. Okay, and the scientist who changed history forever, Yakub, the untold story. In verse 4 of the power of the language, it says that this Adam is the Adam of 6,000 years ago. In the well-presented and clear video on Yakub, also in the 16th chapter of the Holy Tablets, there is the account of Yakub's scientist breeding the Adam of 6,000 years through selective breeding and infanticide. How then did he confusion of the language according to Genesis 10 and 11 happen? The confining of the language in Genesis, that's the one we've just done in the
Tower?
I'm trying to understand the question. Let me see. I don't know if you're asking if Yakub is the one that confused the language in chapter 10. That's a long question, so let me just read it again. It says, okay, let me skip that bit. Right, so it says, I have a question arising out of the video, the hidden power of frequencies and vibrations, and the scientist who changed history forever, Yakub, the untold story. In verse 4 of the power of the language, it says that this Adam is the Adam of 6,000 years ago. In the well-presented and clear video on Yakub, also in the 16th chapter of the Holy Tablets, there is the account of Yakub's scientist breeding okay, I got you, the Adam of 6,000 years through selective. No, you're mixing up two different things. The second one that you're talking about, Yakub, that's not that's the Flugerods of 8,400 years ago. Yeah, that's where that, through that selective breeding came from. And then the 6,000 years, the Adamites, but the thing is the two of them then mixed afterwards. So the 6,000 years, one mixed with those that were the ones that the original Flugerods, they were your original Nordics with the blonde hair, blue eyes, and then the Caucasians that came out of the Caucasus Mountains that mixed with the Flugerods that still existed out of the ones that were fading away. So they're two separate. When you say Adam, you're really talking about the beginning of a new experiment. You see, so there are many Adams. So every time a new experiment was done, a new hybrid was done, they would call that new being Adam. You see, so that's why you have many Adams, because the planet was restarted in terms of like where we're at again now, where the 144,000 are being sought to, to start all over again. And yeah, we're at a time where that might happen, because rumors of wars, and there have been many times where in the past meteorite showers came or floods in certain parts of the world, and then people had to find a way to survive. You know, we're really at that point again now. Okay. And yeah, that Genesis 11 story, that's talking about, remember, it was talking about Nimrod or Sargon, who went to Africa, and he's related to Cush, right? And then he learned the language from his father and then came back and to Mesopotamia, and he was now teaching his people, and then they stopped being controlled by the Anunnaki's frequencies from Nibiru. That's why Enlil had to come down to see what was going on, to say, let's go down there and confound their language, because they were no longer influenced. Like today, a lot of people are receiving messages, we call them subliminal messages, by way of the frequencies and like things that are being sent out, and people act on it. So when you learn Miss Batia today, it blocks those frequencies. And then they won't have that power over you. Mind control, basically. The plutonium bomb, that's what, I was trying to remember before, so thanks for that, Patar Anu. Yeah. Are you guys only in the Clubhouse on Saturdays? No, we're on Zoom and Clubhouse and live simultaneously. And then we put them on YouTube as well after. Okay, we've got about 22 minutes left, so if you haven't got your question in.
Where's the calls?
Yeah, we still got a number for you to call in if you want. Okay, I'm just gonna, because I think sometimes it's unfair that, wow, look how many questions we haven't reached. Because I'm just going from the top. Let me go from the bottom for a change. Yeah, because we might not get to your question. Right, so the number to call in, if you're calling from outside the UK, is +44 753 996 3882. You know, this is Wu-Sabat, the fastest growing movement for world peace.
Yep.
You know, each one reach one, each one teach one. Okay, that's not a question. Thank you, just made it. You just made it clearer, okay. Who doesn't like a little bit of a challenge? I don't know what they're talking about. I'm going from the bottom now, so I'm familiar with Nikola Tesla. Are you familiar with the ride machine? Does anyone support the theory or use of this? Yes, read The Man from Planet Risk. The master teacher was telling us that information back in the 90s. Because I'm going from the bottom, it's not. I might be taking half of a question before. It says, because you said on previous program, if you're not fully ready for barythry gland, you can literally love yourself to death. I think barythry gland is immense responsibility, ability to use to create. Okay, that's not a question. So, the love yourself to death. I think the master was giving us an example where he says, everybody wants to
meet God.
Yeah. Everyone wants to meet God and want God's love. And he said, like, if you think about the example he gave, if you think about a light bulb, he said, the power of a light bulb is like a small, tiny bit of the electricity in, let's say, the whole of the planet. If you can touch an electric light bulb and get shocked, and you know how that feels, he said, like, if you're talking about God being that all-knowing, all-powerful, his light would be so bright if you were to add up all the electricity in the world. You wouldn't be able to go near him because you would literally love yourself to death. That's kind of the example he was explaining. So it's the same thing we're saying, that when you have your barythry gland and are able to use your entire brain power, what you'll be able to do will be a lot. And so it comes with a lot of responsibility, because you have to use that power. They say great power comes with great responsibility. So this is why I'm saying to you that the extraterrestrial are very concerned right now, because man has reached a level where they're playing and toying with great power, which is atomic and nuclear weapons, which can actually become a major problem if they frivolously use it in a way that can destroy the planet. And now, you know, like I said, you're talking about wars with Russia and America and Ukraine and Israel, and everyone is getting to the point where it's like, it's a possibility they could push those buttons. And it doesn't make sense, because they all know that if anybody does that, there's no returning, there's no going back, because it's just a domino effect, you know. So extraterrestrials with high intelligence have to step in and be like, you can't do that. Yeah, so, okay. All right, you can read some questions. Let me answer the lives, and then you. Rahubat, who's calling? Where you calling from? What's your question, please?
Rahubat, yeah, it's T again.
Hey, T.
You know the Pataites?
Yes.
Their ancestors are the Nagaru, yeah?
Yes.
And they reside in, is it Orion?
Tour.
Orion system, okay. Now, you mentioned Planet Risk, that the master teacher's from, and
yes.
Some Planet Risk there. Planet Risk is also in Orion system.
Tour, yes.
Right, now they had some issue with the exterior of the planet.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you if does the planet still exist basically, and have it got life on it still?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so our ancestors still live on there.
All right, our ancestors, the Panatharu, they're everywhere, but that's their original home. So much like on the planet right now, we would say the original people came from Africa, but today we're all over the world. Okay. But you know, like, but the original where you started from would be Africa or Ghana. It's the same. So yeah, that's where the original home would be. Not just Orion, but the constellation, the galaxy known as Ilion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when the master teacher, he's from Planet Risk. So
yeah, which is an Ilion. So the way it works, you have a planet, and the planet is in a solar system, and that solar system is in a galaxy, and the galaxy is in a universe. So you have many different galaxies in, and there are other universes with other
planets and everything.
yeah, exactly. Different star systems.
So would he just travel to like planet Risk, or would he just go all over the solar system?
Who?
The master teacher. So obviously, if he left like Earth, would he just go to planet Risk and stay there, or would he be venturing out and going to places?
I mean, they travel all over the place anyway, but home is home, isn't it? Like, you know, like if you're from Jamaica or from Africa, you travel to America, travel to Spain, travel to Portugal, travel everywhere, but then
yeah, but you're going to travel back.
You're going to go home. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
All right.
And then the planet Nibiru as well. You say that that's controlled at the moment by the Anunnaki.
No, remember we say that the term Anunnaki is referring to the incident when they came to this planet, where Anu sent those beings to the planet in ships that contain 50 passengers or in groups of 50. But there are different types of beings that reside on Nibiru. It's like, do you know, if you ever watch Star Trek, you have different beings that are on the craft. Klingons, you know, Vulcans, and yeah, it's like that.
Wow. And are they agreeable or disagreeable?
Both. You have agreeable and disagreeable. Like we on the planet are the same. We have agreeable and disagreeable.
Okay.
And but sometimes black people. Sometimes people misinterpret agreeable and disagreeable as good and bad. But it's not good and bad. It's just some people agree and some people disagree, depending on the situation. And so when you say good or bad, then somebody has to say what's good and what's bad.
Indeed.
And then if it's bad to me, I will say that's bad. But the person that is doing it, to them might be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we like to explain things in Wu-Sabat that it's being disagreeable is not always a bad thing, because it depends on what you're disagreeing on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and also,
I can tell you're studying, that's good.
Yeah, cool. Imagine that we pass away from here, yeah, where do we actually end up?
It depends on your where you've elevated to and what you've learned and how you've grown on your vibration and your frequency and what you've done here before you pass on.
So elevating, how can we elevate? Is it just basically taking part in Wu-Sabat and then you basically guide us through?
That's the best way, but you're elevating all the time by your thoughts, by the physical things you're doing, your health and your spiritual stuff as well. So there's different ways and paths of elevating your mental, how you think. All of these raise your vibration, you see. So
like, imagine like the master teacher, how did he get to accumulate all this knowledge? Obviously, you say that he's lived or he's been around for a long
many incarnations, yes.
Yeah.
Because you may have done too. Like most people don't realize, on average, they've been here more than 9,000 times, or about 9,000 times.
But how come he remembers and knows and we don't?
He was prepared specifically to come and do this job in this new 24,000-year cycle. And these three beings that came to him at birth and have been like guiding him through, this is Kriel, Alamo and Sa'at, yeah. He's got his barothry gland, so he's using all his brain power, and he's able to, he's got a pen that's guided, so the information comes through him.
His barothry gland. Sorry, because you mentioned that was another question. Is it only him on the planet who's got his barothry gland, or is it beings that have it too?
From what, there's kind of been both sides where I've heard some people that have got it, but he's the only one that we know for sure that has got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I think I had one more question, and it was just to do with, like, you mentioned that when we pass over, depends on what you've done here and so forth, and if you've reincarnated before and stuff like that. And how can we, like, it's kind of hard to say the question. It's kind of
How would you not come back and stuff?
Prepare for the afterlife.
it's like, I know that we say like we kind of have this cycle that we kind of keep going through and stuff, and we kind of reincarnate and stuff like that. But I think that you mentioned before, I think Asari was on the show as well, and you mentioned that you had a brother, like a brethren, someone who joined it, and he just went straight up.
Oh, right. I was talking about Abiyaya, who was the master's...
I know this man.
Yeah, this book here, this is... I'm glad you asked that question. This is such an excellent book. For you as well, I'll recommend this book to you. It's called I Know This Man. And this is somebody that walked the journey with the master teacher from very, very early on. And he stayed with him throughout until he crossed over. And yeah, this book is such a special book because you see the master teacher's ashuk, which we call divine love, unconditional love, and how the two of them, you know, how close and how tight they were, and how, you know, him walking with the master, how he helped him to develop that being to that point where, as you say, when he crossed over, he just went straight up and never had to return or come back.
When you say, okay, perfect. When you say straight up to where?
Okay, so I say up because most of us have been programmed to think about up being like heaven or where you go to once you leave here. But I'm saying up in the sense that you got different realms and you have like 9 levels, and those 9 are even like to the 9th power of 9. So I'm talking about going back to what we call Pa'ut, which is the all expanding. So once you, and then to touch on what you said before, the master teacher says that once you do stuff that helps humanity, yeah, you don't have to come back. So that's why one of the best things you can do is help humanity with Wu-Sabat, you know, because you leave a legacy. This is why it's not just about acting, it's like real divine love, real ashuk, and you're doing things to really touch and help people in this world so that, you know, that will go towards you not having to come back. You see, so the best thing to do is live Wu-Sabat and share and learn, you know, how to put it into practice. But you've asked some great questions, I think. So yeah, that's what you do, help humanity, not just be trapped in people, places and things. Like people get caught up on racism, people, places and things, divisions and all that.
I want to really develop, man. I do it every day myself. Like, obviously, you know, you look at yourself, try to analyze yourself and see where you can pick yourself up in different areas, and you know, you want to modify yourself, do better. It's kind of like, even I think I heard something about the chakras.
Yeah.
You got obviously many chakras. They say 7, and I think that you mentioned that there's 9 in certain beings. How do you elevate those chakras? I know that you have some scrolls about
maybe
them.
I didn't take it out.
I have access to all of them yet. I'm still reading through a few. So I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like we keep saying, it's more activating them, right? And they get activated based on, okay, so for example, yeah, the lowest one, which deals with lust, carnal desires, anger, yes, I'm just using that lowest one. That's what most people feed when they haven't learned to overcome certain things. And so the more you have control over that type of energy and behavior, then that one is not the most important one that you're feeding all the time. And that energy is not necessarily bad, but it's just got to be raised up. So if you were feeding the sex force most of the time, then you're going to be depleting that energy, especially like if you don't understand how powerful that is. So it's a matter of discipline. It's a matter of, like we say, certain practices like meditation, relaxation, showing kindness, unconditional love, and these seats will then be activated. So you have them anyway, and if you imagine them as being lights, you know, the light may be dim. And if you imagine, like, you know, when you can have, let's say, a pedal, like you're pedaling and generating energy to light a light bulb, let's say. So the more you pedal, the brighter the light gets. So the more you develop these seats, the more they radiate outwards and in your nature and in your actions. So
see, I think that I'm looking at it more as a physical thing.
that's right. They're both. They're both. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like your physical has counterparts that are spiritual. So let's say your hand. Okay, you're not just physical, are you? Because your physical body is animated and kept alive by your spirit and your soul and your ether.
I don't really have much knowledge on these areas. This is what I'm trying to
Right, that's what Wu-Sabat is going to teach you. So there's a scroll called the physical ethers, for example, that you need to study and read about the different parts of your etheric being. Because the etheric being is what's the real essence that feeds your real self, that powers your soul, which is that light I'm trying to explain, which is referred to as the solar plexus.
I know that you say Wu-Sabat ask us anything, but sorry to ask you these questions if you
You can't be sorry to ask us questions when we're saying ask us anything. But, I mean, no one else is ringing in at the moment, so it's all right. I'm just saying, when other people are ringing, and if you're holding up the line, then it's different, but you're asking good questions. And a lot of people are going to learn from your questions, so it's good.
I know that too. I just want to add this part. It's because, like, there's not really many people to ask these kind of questions to, if you get it. So, now that I'm asking, like, it's like, I'm happy to ask these questions, but I don't know if you're happy to receive them.
Of course. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you anyway for that.
All right.
It's just that I want to know.
Now we've got somebody else calling, so you have to round off now.
So I'm going to cut it short.
Okay.
I just wanted to learn, like, how to, like, develop in all the aspects that I need to know about, basically, so that I'm a better version of what I know. So
Okay. If I tell you what to do, are you going to do it?
I'm going to do 100%, bro.
Okay, here goes. Read all the Biographics that we have available right now.
All the Biographics?
Yeah.
Okay, then. I'm going to start ordering them from next week.
Okay. And you will have more questions, but you will be getting your answers as well.
All right, then, cool.
All right? All right.
All right, then. I'll see you later.
Okay, what do? Yeah, that was very interesting. Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell him. He was the one I wanted to tell about the breath.
The breath.
Let me tell him anyway. Yeah, T, if you're still listening, I know you asked me about this book, The Breath. Yeah? Rahubat.
That's him.
No, that's someone else. Oh. Greetings. How you doing? What's your name? Where you calling from? What's your question, please?
I'm good, thank you. My name is Sean. I'm calling from London, Northwest.
Rahubat.
Rahubat, I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys are doing, bringing all this information in.
And Takatira was, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Just going off of the whole language thing from earlier, and he was saying that in order to kind of repel these frequencies through language that are always being emitted to us, that learning Nuwaubic or Misbatu is going to be able to protect us.
Yes.
How would that be so if for example, most of us, we speak English, it's not as if we're going to be able to unlearn English. So how specifically is learning the original language going to help kind of repel these frequencies when we still understand these frequencies?
I hear you. It's work in progress. What it is, you have to think about yourself as a computer, and you can reprogram a computer. So what you're doing is you're reprogramming yourself because you're changing Okay, so I don't know. Just now, somebody, I think it was yourself, and I responded to you in Miss Batia, but I don't think you understood what I said, right?
Yeah, but I felt what you said.
Exactly. That's the point. I was actually, you felt it. That's a vibration and a frequency. It's the tones, and that's what we're saying. Like when you're looking at English, it's got a dead tone. It's flat.
Yeah.
And that's what affects you. That's why when you speak to somebody, a lot of times, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like I said to someone today, I was trying to get a hot drink here, and I said, because I was like, do you have any herbal teas? She said, no. And I said, like, okay, I don't really want to do this, but I'll have a hot chocolate. All right. And I said, you know, when you make the hot chocolate, do you use, what milk do you use? And she showed me the cow's milk. And I said, do you have any other milk that you used? And she said to me, we have coffee and we have latte as well. And I stood there for a minute, right? And I was just like, what other milk do you have? Gave me that response of we have coffee and latte as well. You see, because the frequencies and you can do this, you can pick any sentence in English, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, let me think of one. Look out. That's confusing. What do you mean, look out? Because do you mean look out the window, or is do you know what I mean? It's so like confusing.
Yeah.
One word can have so many meanings. Yes, so then people are confused. When you can't really argue in Miss Batia, but you can argue in English because the wires get crossed. So yeah. So basically, the master teacher is teaching us that you have a shield or an aura around you, and when you're vibrating on certain frequencies, then the other ones are not able to penetrate because you're building this shield. It's kind of like
Psychic self.
yeah, psychic self-defense. So
I mean, it makes sense as a defense, but
so to answer your question, you really should be in a community or be around people that you can speak Miss Batia with all the time, or as much as the time as you can, because it's such an important aspect. Because he said that most of our problems will be solved. 90 to 95% of problems will be solved if we just knew the language and could speak it fluently. So, and we have to think about the generations, the future generations, because they have to. If you imagine when you learn English, how did you learn English? You didn't have to get a book, isn't it? You just heard your mother and father speaking, and you started to pick it up. So the adults have to learn it so that they then teach it to their children, and then the children grow up speaking it as their first language, and then they also then pass it on. But most of us, you're right, are not in that environment. This is why when we had our own land, live in our own culture, with the right vibrations, the tones and the frequencies, you were protected. But obviously they didn't really like that because you weren't being controlled anymore, because it's about how you're thinking now. And there's the same thing happening in that Tower of Babel.
Oh, you just think about
I
was just thinking that Tower of Babel incident.
Yeah. So yeah, it's telepathy as well, isn't it? They control you by images that you are subjected to, advertising, marketing, social media. All of these is frequencies that are being sent to you, and then you react on them based on the programming. But yeah, excellent question. That's why we say get into the community, study the language, and speak it with people that are around you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Wadi.
Bye-bye.
Oh. What's the time? How we doing?
This is past.
Oh wow, we've already gone past. So
someone's just done a donation as well.
Yeah,
okay,
that's it.
We're gonna have to answer that then, isn't it?
It says,
definitely.
No,
I got.
It says, Rahubat, Earth and Vision, can you get Saken to shout out T for us for asking those massively important questions. Please.
Oh yes, T. You heard that right?
For reminding us who's been here learning for a little while and the new people who can't articulate questions yet.
Excellent,
So
excellent.
shout out T.
T, you heard that. Big shout out to you because you're an exemplary student. Because that's what happens. I was saying before, sometimes people don't digest and study what they've already got. They just keep asking questions and asking questions. So you're studying and you're asking questions about what you're studying, and that's how we're really supposed to do it, because you know, sometimes people just bounce off of other people's questions as opposed to reading and studying a scroll and then getting stuck or needing clarification on something. And when I go back to when I started in Wu-Sabat, it was the same thing. I was one of those people that once I got to know about the master teacher, it was about studying and reading the scrolls and then going to class and asking my questions. And I think we both kind of came up in the same way. And there's nothing that beats you studying, you know, because you have a one-to-one connection with the master teacher when you're reading. So nothing beats reading. And we always say that the videos are great because we live in that day and time, but YouTube may not always be here. So you have to study to put that in your mind, in your brain, and then to build a library to pass on to the family and the generations to come, your children, so that they can also, and you know how it is when the books sell out. You see how hard it is to get hold of some of the scrolls. So you have to get them when they're available. So yeah, all of you, log in, OSM Vision. Oh, you didn't even tell that. Someone was asking about these beautiful, what do you want to call, what they're called?
Seeker necklaces.
Okay, with the crystals and the,
Yeah.
yeah, so if you want to get some of those, or any of the stuff you see us wearing, they're available. So the links will be in the comment section. And yeah, check us out at nashat.co.uk.
And before you go, you got $5 from Mrs. TBJ.
Oh, thanks for that, Mrs. TBJ. Showing appreciate love your donation.
LA story, tell us at $9.99.
9, yeah.
$9.99.
Well, I don't have, he's got it now. So yeah, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Your presence is appreciated, appreciate loved. Yeah, we're here every week, every Tuesday, same time, same place. We're dedicated and your help to joining the Telegram group, sharing, liking the videos, most importantly, subscribing. We want to hit that 100K and we're going to give you some jewels.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for you, for being so loyal and for helping us to reach the 100K. And of course, we have the Saturday live classes as well, every Saturday. You can join on Zoom, Telegram. And for that personal one-to-one, you can have that with me as well on Zoom, from wherever you are in the world, you know. So if you'd like to do that, as well as the 3 questions you can send in, you know, we're working around the clock trying to get Wu-Sabat out there. So you have many avenues, many ways, and it's all for free. So, you know, there's no better way to raise your vibration and to save your soul. So we want to say Tawukum,
Tawakum,
Wu-Wadu,
Moisa.
Moisar, Wadu.